1 minute. 1 minute to go. April Burns made it. Not at all.
Call this meeting of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation to order for October the 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m. to be held at the Gun Barrel City Chamber Council Chambers of 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, 75156. To establish a quorum, roll call to my left.
Rankin here.
Key here.
Damiano here.
Ligon here.
Bond here.
We have a quorum. We shall proceed. I'd like to take a moment to pray for our country and what we're about to face with the storm. Pray for the people that are facing down that storm in Florida right now, and also to pledge allegiance to the flag. Please stand with us. Father God, we come to you and just thank you for allowing us to come together as your children in your name. Father, we ask that you pour out your protective blessings over those in the harm's way in the Yucatan Peninsula and in Florida on both coasts. Lord, they've been through so much. Be with them and bring them through this as well. Father, we thank you for allowing us to proceed as a wonderful city in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Be seated. Before we go much further, I'd like to take time to welcome our esteemed guests tonight. I want to welcome Mayor Brian Crewell with us tonight. The president, the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Kate Weller, is with us tonight. And the chairman of the Park Board is with us tonight, Monica Damiano. Also with us tonight is Stephen Haynes and Eve Hope from Pier 334.
You have a council member.
I'm not there yet.
Oh.
And they will be talking to us a little bit later. I also want to acknowledge our council member, April Burns, who is here with us tonight. And if I happen to overlook anybody, raise your hand. All right, let's move forward. Citizen comments. Comments from citizens are limited to 3 minutes each. No action may be taken. Any person desiring to speak must fill out the comment form prior to the gaveling to order of the meeting. Individual citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes, and the minutes are not transferable to another citizen. Any person desiring to speak must come to the podium and be recognized by the presiding officer. Stephen, do we have anybody that's signed up to speak tonight?
We do not.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4. New business. Consider and take action to approve the September 10th, 2024 EDC board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the September 10th EDC board meeting minutes.
Bond will second.
I have a motion from Ms. Rankin, a second from Mr. Bond. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote from my left.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Ligon, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. these minutes are now a part of the record and entered into our corporate books. Item number 5, the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors will recess in its open meeting and adjourn into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to deliberate the following. We will deliberate under 551.074, deliberation on personnel matters, including the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the executive director of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. I adjourn the open meeting at 6:04 p.m.
Can you turn microphones up? Now? Yep.
We were all off.
Sue Alexander wasn't able to be with us tonight. She is caring for a friend in the Metroplex, and this is the week she was there. But Lisa is here, and Judge Wallace will swear her in.
Testing.
I, Lisa Matthews, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation of the state of Texas and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of the state, so help me God. I, Lisa Matthews, do solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. Thank you.
To her. And then I'll
Grab a seat. Grab a seat.
Can I have you sign these as well? Sure.
Do you want it? Mine's black.
Well, black one.
Okay.
Okay.
This right here?
That one, and then
I, Linda Rankin, do solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money of value or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be. So help me God. I, Linda Rankin, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of the state, so help me God.
Roy Key, do solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any monies or thing of value, or promise any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. I, Roy Key, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
We need her. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of Gun Barrel City, I present to you our newest Economic Development Board of Directors. Okay, we'll move on to item number 9, conduct the Economic Development Board orientation. Turn this over to Dr. Smith.
Good evening, Board. Stephen, next slide. So we're going to try something a little bit different this year than what all of our boards have done in the past. And we're actually going to do our orientation at a meeting, and I'm going to kind of go through it. Stephen's also going to give you a folder about the time I'm done that has a lot of information in it. He actually did a folder for all of our board members, so everybody has the exact same thing, not just for our new members. I have done my best to give you the Cliff Note version of this. There is no way. It would take me hours to give you all of the information that members like Keith, Gary, Roy, and Linda have. So I have tried to get just a snippet of that to kind of go through what the highlights are. And I wanted to do this before you elected your officers because I have some information in here about what the officers do, and I thought it would give everybody a little better grasp of that. So next slide, Stephen, please. So Gun Barrel City is a Type B corporation. And the Texas legislature adopted the Development Corporation Act of 1979 to give cities the ability to raise funds and finance economic and community development efforts. The Texas Local Government Code, chapters 501, 504, and 505 define the scope of the economic development corporations. Corporations are either a Type A or a Type B, and Gun Barrel City is a Type B. And the voters of the city of Gun Barrel City approved the formation of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation hereafter called GBC EDC, because it is a lot of words, in 1997. And we are considered a Type B corporation, and our revenue is funded by 1/4 cent of the city sales tax collection. So eligible, I'm going to have a hard time talking because these are hard words, Type B projects. Type B corporations may pay for land, buildings, equipment, facilities, targeted infrastructure, and improvements for the following: professional and amateur sports and athletic facilities, tourism and entertainment facilities, thank you, Grace, convention facilities, public parks, related store, restaurant, concession, parking, and transportation facilities, related street, water, and sewer facilities, or affordable housing, to promote and develop new and expanded business enterprises that create or retain primary jobs. A Type B EDC may fund public safety facilities, recycling facilities, streets, roads, drainage, and related improvements, demolition of existing structures, general municipally owned improvements, maintenance, and operating costs associated with such projects. A Type B EDC may also seek voter approval to spend Type B sales tax funds for water supply, water conservation program, or cleanup of contaminated property. City Council oversight. Per Texas state law, the GBC City Council is to approve all programs and expenditures of the EDC and annually review any financial statements of the corporation. Our City Council actually approves your monthly financial report. It is entitled access to all of the corporation's books and records at all times, and that's the Texas Local Government Code 501073. In accordance with the GBC EDC bylaws, directors shall be appointed by and shall serve at the pleasure of the GBC City Council. Required trainings and special notes. So all of this will be in your packet that you receive. You must complete the Texas Public Information Act training. There will be a link in there for you to do that. You'll have to print your certificate if you were appointed tonight. Even if you've done it before, you'll have to do it again and print that off and give that to Stephen. You also need to review the Texas Open Meetings Act. Every regular, special, or called meeting of a governing body is open to the public, unless it is a closed meeting like we had tonight where they had an executive session, and it has to meet very specific criteria to be that. Our boards and our council follow Robert's Rules of Order, so that basically establishes the protocol by which the meetings can be conducted, and the EDC follows that as well. Special notes, a quorum is 4 members of the board, and the only thing I would recommend everybody, especially new members, Lisa for you and for Sue as well, is to be very careful about a walking quorum. You have to be very cautious about who all you talk to about a topic. So because a quorum is 4, if 4 board members are on the same email, you have now potentially started a walking quorum if everybody responds to each other. Most of our board members have been around long enough and done this for a while, so they all know that. Something I like to warn our members about. TML has a ton of information out there. We actually read some of TML's notes today. That's who we go to when we have a question. So there are a lot of information out. A quick Google search of walking quorum in Texas will give you 97 pages of TML opinion on what that looks like and what you can and can't do. Next slide, please, Stephen. The board consists of 7 citizens who are qualified voters of Gun Barrel City to serve as the board of directors of the corporation, and they serve at the pleasure of council. The term of each director is 2 years, and you can serve 3 2-year terms, so for a total of 6 years. No director shall serve, more than 3 2-year terms for a total of 6 consecutive years. And any board director may be removed from the board by the city council at will. Next slide, please. So the ethics policy, there is a copy of the ethics policy that was approved by council in 2023 in your packet when Stephen hands you that as soon as we're done. Some of the highlights of that are being dedicated to the concept of effective and democratic local government, serving the best interest of the people at all times, endeavoring to make policy decisions based on factual information, Avoid participating in any manners that create the appearance of a conflict of interest or unethical conduct. Refraining from activities which may undermine the public's confidence in its representatives. An official shall not leverage his or her position or for personal gain or benefits. Keep matters of a confidential nature confidential. And these are just a few of the highlighted items. A copy of that ethics policy is in your packet. There's a total of 14 of them. I didn't figure you wanted me to read them all to you. So how the board works with City Council, you have the EDC Board of Directors, you have 2 staff members, and you kind of work through that. So you all would work directly with your EDC director, who then also reports to council and keeps them abreast of what's going on. Right now, that manages to be me, and I wear both. For your information, Lisa, I wear both the EDC director hat and the city manager hat. And so I work with both the board and council to make sure everybody's in the loop about what's going on. Next slide, please, Stephen. What is it? So economic sustainability is critical to Gun Barrel City's future and that of the entire Lakeplex in the East Texas region. Most of this information came right out of the strategic plan for the EDC. The city's economic strength will set the tone and pace for new development, impact the city's ability to maintain and enhance quality public services, and determine whether the city becomes a net exporter or importer of goods, services, and human capital. Economic opportunity is fundamentally a quality of life issue for those who choose to make their home in Gun Barrel. Economic development doesn't happen on its own. It requires a deliberate, proactive strategy with upfront public investments in new infrastructure and program development. It helps hold the line on taxes through tax-based growth, thus creating an even more attractive place for businesses and households. It brings new income into the community, helping to spawn local spending and wealth creation. And most importantly, it impacts the city's abilities to retain and return its best and brightest by expanding local employment and creating opportunity for new businesses. So the GBC mission and guiding principles focus on building a diverse economy that creates abundant opportunities for all residents and entrepreneurs through purposeful investments that leverage Gun Barrel City's position as the hub of the Lakeplex, lake access, and the culture to foster continued quality of life enhancement. GBC will become a modern, thriving destination for recreation, entertainment, and fun without sacrificing the slower-paced hometown feel that attracted people and businesses to Gun Barrel in the first place. The guiding principles: be diversified, be competitive, capital-intensive and opportunity-driven, and destination appeal. Again, this all came out of the comprehensive plan on the economic development strategic plan. So the EDC objectives that were set by this board back late spring, early summer. The objectives for about the next 18 months really focus on business retention and expansion for existing businesses, do small business support, look at establishing some new festivals and events to get people into town, and workforce development. The longer 3-year plan would be to look at increasing light industrial, look at retail strategies, increasing social media, increasing broadband to the community, formalizing the regional mayor entity, which I think is a box that we have checked with the Cedar Creek Area Mayors Coalition, and then Pier 334, which you will hear more about tonight. City Council, there's a picture. A lot of them are in the audience tonight. Brian Kroll is our mayor, April Burns, Rita Evans, Jennifer Jacobs, Jay Burson, and Kenneth Foster. And then the GBC EDC leadership, you have a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary, and then you have 3 board members. All roles are very important. One is not less important than the other because it takes the team of 7 to deliberate items. But the president is elected by the board of directors annually in October. He basically, by the bylaws, this is a synopsis of in the bylaws, which is also in your packet, have charge of the properties and affairs of the board. They lead the meetings. The vice president has the powers of the president in the president's absence or inability to act. The treasurer reviews all the financial statements before they're being presented to the board of directors. The secretary reviews all the minutes of the meetings. Staff does keep those items, so we do put them together. We put together the financial report that you got today. Stephen puts the minutes together after the meeting. That way you guys can be engaged in the meeting and not trying to take notes during the meeting. It's much easier if Stephen does that, but he does send them out to those board members. And then we have 3 other board member positions. Subcommittees, we currently have 3 subcommittees with a 4th one on its way. So business retention and expansion, large business, business and retention and expansion, small business, the festival and events. And then coming soon, we will have a loan and grant task force. We'll probably appoint those at the next meeting because we approved the small business incentive program. So we will start reviewing those quarterly. So as we get applications in. Staff, my name is Angie. I'm currently the executive director of the GBC EDC, and Stephen Barnett is the office administrator and really the brain behind this whole operation. I'll be honest with you. Stephen is a huge asset, not only to me, but also to all the board members. What's your role on the board? Volunteer leaders are responsible for the direction of the organization, and staff are responsible for the administration of the organization. So the board governs and the staff manages. I am open, I am available. You can email me or call me anytime. I'm happy to help any way I can. Some advice, how to get something on an agenda, reach out to the board president. Right now that's Roy. We will elect those offices tonight, but reach out to the board president to discuss the idea, especially if you're a new member. Always you can reach out to me or Stephen and we will add it to the agenda as well. Don't be a lone wolf. The best way to get something done is to ensure that you kind of understand the whole process and what we need to do that, and you can discuss those ideas with the president or the director. And ask questions. Lisa, any question you have, they all know, they all do. Anytime you have questions, me or Stephen or Roy, whoever the president is a great resource. As you're learning kind of how this goes and how things flow, you will drink from a fire hose for a few meetings while you're just like, whoa, what are they talking about? Because it's almost impossible to give you all the information up front, but we are here if you have any questions at all. Being an engaged leader, review and respond, read your emails, respond to requests, review your meeting materials in advance and ask questions beforehand if you have them. That gives me time or your director time to get you answers. Participate, attend all the board meetings and the events and activities. This board is engaged. They just did National Night Out. They typically participate in our Halloween event, so they've been more and more involved in every event that we do. Encourage your circle of influence to provide you ideas and information, and I call your circle of influence those people that you are around, no matter where that is, your group of friends, your group of business associates in town, your church group, however you have a group of friends, that's the best person. Remember that you're appointed by council. Council is elected by our residents, and they're looking to you for advice and recommendations. And then follow through on your commitments. Review the action items in the minutes. If you don't hear from us, call and say, hey, we're supposed to be doing this. When are we going to do this? And meet and respect deadlines. With a lot of subcommittees, this board now has a lot of subcommittees, and they tend to meet about once a month. And so that is a little bigger of a commitment than it may be just one weekend, one night a month for a meeting. Good governance. So there is a lot of information out there about EDCs. Boards are expected to maintain their accountability, independence, and transparency while governing. You can look at Texas Local Government Code 501, 504, 505, the EDC Board of Directors bylaws, which Stephen will give out, our policies. We have a few policies. Stephen has an orientation folder that has a lot of really good information about EDCs. Stephen made one for everybody tonight, not just the new person, so everybody would have the same information because I know it didn't get handed out last year. This was my first meeting last year. Charter, Section 8, boards and commissions, and then our small business incentive policy is there. Any questions? That's a lot, and I went fast, but I'll send you the presentation. So thank you, Linda, for your help today reviewing this to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, good enough.
And I want to add to that, Ms. Matthews, that you're stepping into the role of a fiduciary. That means that anything that you do as a part of this board, your wishes, your wants are behind the city's wants, the good of this organization. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next item. Next item will be consider and take action to appoint a president for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Move forward.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Roy Key to continue as president for the year 2024, 2025.
Second.
No any question? Any discussions? Vote from my right.
Bond, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Thank you. I will serve you again for another year to the best of my ability. Item number 11, consider and take action to appoint a vice president for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, and I would like to make a motion that we reappoint Keith Bond as the vice president for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
I'll second that.
Any questions, any discussion? Hearing none, vote from my right.
Yes.
Matthews, yes.
That was kind of weak.
Yes.
Yes.
And I say yes.
Rankin, yes.
Move on to the next item. Consider and take action to appoint a secretary for the 2024-25 fiscal year, and I will move to reappoint Gary Damiano as the secretary for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Bond will second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, vote from my right.
Bond, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Yes.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Item number 13, consider and take action to appoint a treasurer for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Take a motion to appoint.
I'd like to make a motion, if she accept it, to nominate Linda Rankin as the treasurer for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, a vote from my right.
Bond, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
And item number 14,
That was a.
somebody have a,
Financials?
item number 14.
I'd like to move that we approve the August 2024 EDC financials.
I'll second.
Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, vote from my left.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Bond, yes.
Financials pass and now become a permanent record with the EDC. Item number 15, we have a presentation from Stephen Haynes and Eve Hopes with the YNS. They're going to talk to us about what's going on with their Pier 334, which is something that we're very excited about, and I'm very happy to welcome them to the platform to talk to us. You need to give him a microphone, I think.
Okay. So I'm going to start off, and then I'm going to give the important stuff to Eve.
A little closer.
Oh, I'm going to start off, and then Eve will jump in and do the important stuff. But so first of all, thank you all for supporting us. Thanks for bringing us back. We are thrilled with the progress. Things kind of all broke loose at once. We were waiting for TxDOT took them months and months to sell us that little sliver. We couldn't get a plat approved until that sliver was closed. We actually closed it just a couple of days ago. I got a picture of the deed. At the same time, the EPA and the USDA came back and said the environmentals are finally good, and that was a disaster. It took months for them to try to figure out whether or not the tanks that were in the ground at that facility had polluted the land around it, because when they were taken out in the 70s, nobody recorded it. So when they went to look for us to take out the tanks were already gone. And it was like a big surprise. So that got cleared. And then as soon as that got cleared, the regional TRWD gave us our our permit to go ahead and start taking out or redo the seawall, which is now collapsed and was destroyed. So it's great for the environment, it's great for everything, so we got started as fast as we could. So, Pier 334, we've done a lot of other things besides waiting, this is kind of the start of the updates we're going to give you tonight. We did acquire the property from TxDOT for $2,300. That was on September 24th. The environmental requirements were approved by the USD on September 20th. Hilton approved our branding message. Hilton approved our floor layouts. Hilton, we make our last presentation to Hilton on October 28th for all the interior designs and lighting approvals. We're scheduled to hand Gun Barrel City the construction drawings for permits no later than December 1st. It's our hard deadline with our architects right now. Tarrant Regional Water gave us our permit to remove the boat ramp, put in a new seawall. Work has commenced. And then the request for permits to do some more dirt work and do all of our grading will be next. And that will come pretty quick. As soon as the seawall is finished, you got mitigation for erosion that we have to do beforehand, and then we can start moving dirt. Okay, let's go with the branding. So this is a unique exercise. Hilton makes us tell them a story of what this is and what it's all about. So without boring you too much, basically, you start off by hiring an agency. We did one out of Dallas. They do a whole bunch of 4 seasons. So they were very well qualified. And they just talked to Eve and myself. They talked to other people that have skin in the game in this process, whether they were politicians or city managers or just citizens in Gun Barrel City, kind of random calls. And they come up with a vibe and a feel. They give it to us. We have to like it, and we did. So it just started out with, it's a stylish lake home. It's for people that like coming to the lake. They know about the lake. Their friends have places at the lake, but they don't have their house. And they don't want to come to a motel that isn't on the water. So this becomes kind of the start of what the branding was. The next is kind of the brand essence. It's a hotel entertainment venue. It's more to bring people together than it is for a hotel, for an overnight stay. It's more to bring your family down. It's more to be part of a community, be part of a wedding, a wedding or a family reunion or something, and have fun places to stay. And you can see that the pictures are going to kind of blend into what the brand is going to look like when we're done. They did that on purpose. And then again, it's hosting people from far and wide, whether it's business, coming here to Gun Barrel City, whether it's relaxation, or whether it's just locals that need more space and don't have enough room in their house for their wedding guests. The end of it was our brand and our look, and they gave us this. Is kind of the end. This is what you'll see down on the boardwalk or around the water, and that's what our logo is. Those are our fonts and our colors. And then Eve was able to take those and turn them into, what's next, which is the buildings themselves, and that is the food hall. Again, for you guys that maybe not have seen it before, and that is the hotel from the water view. And I'm going to turn it over to Eve at this point to walk through what she's designed.
I'm just not sure how to do it without pointing at the parts. I'll just do my best. I'm going to go closer, though. All right, so this is the approved first floor plan with the lobby spaces, the banquet halls, the restaurants, all that. If you can see, I wish I had a pointer. Can I come up there?
Is there a problem
You can come up here.
Yeah, it'd be a little easier to
You
go
can come
through
up
it.
here.
Come on.
up.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was allowed.
We don't have a pointer, but you can use your finger.
Yeah, it's just, okay, that's good. All right, so again, this is the first floor plan. There are 3 floors above with 62 rooms total. I think everybody knows that by now. Come in here, reception desk. There's a lot of seating, just casual hangout space. As sort of a focal point, we have a bar. The water's here, obviously, and there's also an outdoor patio that overlooks the amphitheater and the marina. Elevators, this is kind of back of house offices. This is a pre-function space. in front of the banquet hall. So we have, I forget how many, 160 capacity for the banquet rooms. They can also be divided into two, as you can see with a screen down the middle. And again, the pre-function area, so like if it's a wedding, they would have the cocktail hour there. And that overlooks the water and the pool. And this is the restaurant. It's long and skinny, but it's that way, so for maximizing the views of the water. And kitchen spaces back here, and banquet kitchens and whatnot here. And connected also to the back of house offices there. So that's pretty much the first floor. Pool area on the water. Okay, so I've been working with interior designers. They're all Hilton approved. It's quite a process. They have to go to school for 2 years to get certified and stuff. So, you know, I was almost limited with who I could pick because they're really particular. So this is their first sort of go-around for the interiors. This is not totally where we're at. We've evolved a lot since then. This is where we started. You know, I wanted more color. I like this kind of thing. I wanted a lot of color. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be inviting, but casual, and just like I said, warm and inviting place to hang out. This is some ideas for the bar and the restaurant. Again, we've evolved since this, but this was where our point where we started. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting with them at 9 in the morning tomorrow, when we're taking this way to the next level, where we're getting into furniture selections, and it seems early, but it takes a long time to get this stuff ordered and everything, so we're getting a really early start with all the furniture and the lighting fixtures and stuff. This is the sort of the first idea of what the restaurant could look like. Again, really natural. I want a lot of plants and, you know, casual, fun vibe in there. I like murals, maybe not this one in particular, but I like large graphic murals, some furniture ideas, and lighting ideas. This is one of the rooms. So most of the rooms are pretty standard, but we have some really awesome suites that are on the ends of either end of the building. And so this is an example of one of those. It has an outdoor, its own outdoor balcony, and it has a living area and a bedroom area and desk and a little kitchen and stuff. So these rooms are really great for like weddings and bridal parties and that kind of thing. This is kind of an idea of the room. Again, we've evolved since then, but kind of gives you an idea. A lot of built-ins and the usual stuff, a desk area, and this is an example of the king-size bed. This is a site plan. I guess we've all seen this. It's we're really far into the construction drawings. I think, you know, like what I show you just then, that is an example. That is a design drawing. We're much further than that. We've engaged all the engineers, the mechanical engineers, and electrical and plumbing. Structural, we're really far into the drawings. They all are going to look like this. So believe me, it's going to be a big set. It's been a lot. So, but it's exciting, and we're getting close.
How many parking spots?
I forgot. Needless to say, we have all the parking. That always is the first thing that comes up, but we have all the required parking. People are always afraid of that. All the traffic studies, you guys know all that already, but we should be in good shape, so, okay?
You have anything else you want to add, Stephen? Okay.
This is a copy of the TxDOT filing. So that's the piece of paper that's our deed. That's that little tiny sliver, just so everybody is up to date. The project specs, just so we're all stay on top of it, it's 62 rooms, a food and entertainment pavilion, an amphitheater, the water feature. We do have 700 feet of waterfront. We're starting with a 20-boat marina, and we'll go to 40 as soon as they're able to slot us in for putting in the rest of the walkway. It is, as of today, slightly more than a $27 million project, and it creates 64 new jobs. Here's the job creation. We thought we'd share that with you because this is fairly new. This came from Hilton, and they kind of walk through just that is just the hotel, not even the food court, and it's not things like maintenance, but it is people that we need to be hiring for, which is the front desk, housekeeping, general and administrative stuff, advertising, promotions, repairs and maintenance, food and beverage. And it was interesting, your slide, one of the last things was workforce development. And some of you have been to the Whistle Stop, some of you haven't, but we designed that, and we built it to see what we could do as far as employment goes in the area. And this last 3 or 4 weeks, we've celebrated, of our 24 full-time employees there, 18 of them are now on their 1-year anniversary, which is great. And we've got our, because we between the tips and our salaries, the average worker is making $24.50 an hour, which is great. And we gave them all the choice. Do you want to move up here to Gun Barrel when this starts, or do you want to stay in Trinidad? And about half of them are going to come up. Our executive chef will be coming up, and our general manager is going to be coming up. So we have a good core to start with, and then that's just for the restaurant. For the hotel, Hilton parachutes in the general manager for the entire property, and the chief accountant for the property, and the food and beverage manager. We get them for a year. They train the replacements, and then after a year, they go on to the next location. Hilton's just got this ongoing kind of rotation of executives. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we've done a decent job of starting the workforce. So at least 18 months from now when we open, we got a pretty good head start on having a really good team that understands the community more than anything else. And we can start attracting people locally that want to come and work for us. As restaurateurs now, and we never were before, we're very sensitive to poaching, so we're not going to try to steal people from any place else because it's really hard to get good people and train them. So we'll do the best we can to recruit outside of other people's establishments. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is something that we're going to start. We would love your help. I think we're going to eventually need it, but one of our firsts that we did was 3 years ago, we went to Henderson County and got something called CPACE approved. And CPACE is a program where the federal government will actually guarantee certain loans if you're increasing the energy efficiency of your buildings. And there's really strict requirements on how much they'll loan you, but we actually got the county commissioners to approve CPACE for Henderson County. It had not been done before. And we are the first program to be using it. And I think now, as other things are being built in the city, I didn't see that any of the car washes or any of the new buildings have applied for it, but we should probably encourage them to do so because the interest rates are 2% lower. It's only for the energy portion. So if you're building a $2 million building, maybe $600,000 is for appliances and lights and heaters and air conditioners, and that stuff that you can apply. And there is a big fund in Texas that will fund it for you. So the next one it's called Tax Incremental Reinvestment Zone. And what that is the state of Texas passed this law a couple years ago, 5, 6 years ago. And Kaufman uses it, Navarro uses it, of course Dallas and uses it, and so does Tarrant and Houston and San Antonio. But anyway, what it is it's specifically designed for businesses that don't impact the schools, something like a hotel, something like a restaurant, something like a car wash, where if the county approves it and the city approves it, you can designate a zone. And that zone, let's just say, is Main Street in Gun Barrel City. The EDC and or the council or the city can go and talk to the county and say, we would like to create a zone here on Main Street. And then what they do is the taxes that would have been paid to the school district are allowed to be reinvested by the EDC or somebody else into businesses that are generating tax through this development zone. So if we can get Gunbarrel, if we can get Main Street created as a tax incremental revenue zone, you would be able to attract businesses by saying, if you come here, we can take your 1.2% property tax that's going to Maybank School District, and we can reinvest it into roads, infrastructure, cleaning things up, your own business, new sewer lines. So it's really kind of interesting. Kaufman is using it on 274. They got it approved from the Hamlins all the way up past the country club to the highway, to 175. So it's been done, and they have a big competitive advantage. So we're going to go, and I'm going to talk to the county commissioners, and hopefully we can get, Henderson County to adopt this. And if they do, then y'all or the city council would have the ability to designate whatever zone you wanted it to be. And again, it wouldn't impact Gun Barrel City one bit because the money goes to the Maybank School District, and this is only for businesses that don't impact the schools. So it's kind of a benefit. So that's kind of my ask, along with my thank you for all of your support and for our update. And Keith, it's really nice to see you doing well. We're happy for you.
Thank you.
We haven't seen you in a while.
And I want to ask everyone to take your calendars out and mark them for the 14th of October, which is next Monday. At 10 in the morning, we're going to have a groundbreaking over at the Pier 334 project. We'd love to have you out there. I'd say that there's going to be like donuts and coffee and maybe steaks, but I don't think we can say that. All right. Anybody on the board have any other questions for Mr. Haynes or Ms. Hope? Okay. Item number 16, consider and take action on how to proceed on the purchase of Lot 1, Abstract 488 of the T.S. Mitchell Survey, Sandy Shores, 4th Block, 4LT1. I turn that over to Dr. Smith to tell us about it.
Absolutely. Several of you likely have much more history on this piece of property than I do. This is the piece of property directly behind Crossroads Liquor Store. And initially, it was part of the negotiations of trying to buy this. Here's what I think I know. In the process of that, the EDC signed a contract, a purchase contract of some kind for about $80,000 to purchase this small piece of property in conjunction with signing the agreement with Stephen and Pier 334. This is a very small piece of property, and that initial agreement was signed with Dan and Kay Jones in the belief that Dan and Kay had control of this piece of property. Dan and Kay did not, and as you all know, it got turned into this long legal battle within the family over who actually owned that land. They, in August, settled their dispute. The contract we have is null and void. Dan and Kay actually do not have or are part of the estate in some way. I do not know what that settlement was, but the family has agreed that there is an estate manager. Stephen and I have both met with her and her son. She would still love to sell this to us for $80,000 or $85,000, what the original amount was. As your EDC director, I have to give you some advice, right? I called Stephen. Stephen and I have had several phone conversations about this piece of property. Stephen does not necessarily have to have this piece of property. It's not as important as it was because now he has the agreement with Crossroads Liquor. As I started digging further and further into this, and this kind of got dumped on my plate my second day at work and said, here, we have this agreement, figure it out. And I'm like, okay. So we did some research. And again, Stephen and I have talked multiple, probably a dozen times in the last year about this piece of property. This piece of property is on the Henderson County tax rolls for $2,500. It is a very small piece of property. I would argue that it's probably not in the best interest of the EDC and the business that we do day to day to be involved in this transaction, right? We're going to purchase it and we're going to turn around. We really don't have a need for it unless the board argues that we do. And we're going to then turn around and try to sell it to Stephen. My recommendation is to withdraw ourselves from that process, allow Mr. Haynes and YNS to deal directly with the manager of that estate, and if they can come to terms. There was never, as far as we can tell, a appraisal done on that piece of property. We do have a survey. It is a very small piece that's developable. But my recommendation, but I need the board to kind of decide how you want to move forward. If you give me direction tonight to go and negotiate with that executor of that estate, I am happy to do that. But we try to do things at fair market value, and knowing that we now have other agreements in place, and this may not be a critical turning point like it was at one point. I'm here to ask the board for some direction.
I specifically think that we would like to put this, the board, I as the president of the board, don't want us to be involved in the purchase of this property. I don't think we need to be involved in the purchase of this property. It's to be going to Pier 334 and YNS, and I believe that I would like to make a motion that we abandon the purchase of the property as an EDC board and place it in the hands of YNS Services to buy it.
I'll second that.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I do. Money has been allocated to buy the land, correct? Out of the original 500,000?
85,000.
The
Originally, it was
85,000 was
85
allocated to
85,000.
buy this land, correct?
Yeah, I believe it was budgeted into it. I know out of the 500, we had overspent some of that. So maybe 20. So there was maybe still about 60 held aside that has not, if memory serves me correctly, there's about 60 that has not been spent out of that original 500,000.
Correct.
And I can tell you that the
that was-
85,000 was added as an afterthought after that $500,000 loan was taken. It's not part of that.
Well, it originally was a part of the original 500,000, but as time went on, it came up to where everything that YNS had spent, we had we could have paid $75,000 if the deal had gone through. Mr. Haynes, I think at that time, would have had to come up with an extra 10. So it was approximately 75,000 that was left. As it stands, by them doing this, that means that of the original $500,000 that we invested into this project, there's 60 to 70 something thousand remaining of that 500,000 that has not been spent.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
And that's something we need to run down for certain.
Sure. And I'm happy to bring that back to the board. I just, Mr. Bond did come to me, I guess maybe December, January, and he and I took the whole budget to look, and that was part of it. We have overspent the 500,000 a bit. They had done that before I came on board, but there was part of that lined out budget was to purchase this piece of property.
I chased this rabbit around that hole for about a year.
Yes, that's accurate.
So for clarification then, somehow I have it in the back of my mind that the original idea was for the EDC to buy it and then deed it over to YNS. Is that correct or incorrect?
That is my assumption.
That's my assumption as well.
The way I understood was it was just like the land we purchased for the parking lot. The EDC would purchase the property, then the deed would be put into the Pier 334 joint project. So, yes, we would purchase it as that was a part of the $500,000, the $2 million original buy-in. Now, I don't know if that means that there's still approximately $60,000 to $75,000 that
Ish.
can be used into that, and Mr. Haynes may. Yes, this is the paperwork that I passed around quite often, and also my understanding is that if we do not pursue the purchase of this property, Pier 334 and YNS and Pier 334, the combined, still have that money that, if needed, could be spent. Is that your understanding, Mr. Haynes? Okay. Was allocated. So
That's correct.
that's,
Okay,
And I have a question. How come we were paying 85,000 for it if we can only pay fair market value on the land?
that was decided by a previous board.
We don't have an answer to that. That was something that was put in place.
that, and I don't think there was ever an appraisal, was there?
I've never seen an appraisal. I've
Not
looked
to
at it.
our knowledge, there was.
But I think we're going far afield. I'd like to bring us back to the motion. The motion is we're going to drop it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's open for discussion, and so my understanding is that your motion is that the EDC backs out of the purchase,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
Right,
And YNS Services is totally responsible for the purchase.
yes.
If
The
they wish to
EDC, the EDC gets to keep it, 75,000, is that correct?
What happens to the remaining $500,000 will have to be determined by the board. Tonight, the discussion is only about the piece of property.
And we have to really consider this because we agreed in the original purchase to put in $500,000. If we do anything less than that
I
500,
agree, that's why.
so that's why I'm saying that if,
The terms of that agreement, though, are now null and void because the contract wasn't,
but
Not the purchase
not the purchase, but the
it
money.
has a purchase agreement with
The
it?
money would go back into this account, the original 500,000.
Right.
Like Mr. Haynes was saying, 73,000 and some change. That money has to be available for us to meet our obligation, I would assume.
I think we need an attorney's opinion on that.
We will, yeah.
But let's go back to the land itself.
I guess, Angie, you said, I'm just trying to understand this, okay, as to whether we're transferring an expense to YNS
My-
or not. I
My
don't,
only question is, does the board want the EDC to attempt to buy this piece of property? Or do we want to take ourselves out of that and allow YNS, Pier 334, Stephen?
We have another issue that we have to talk about as a board, and that's what to do with the other money. Right now, on
Absolutely.
the table is the question, are we going to back out of this loan? The motion's on the table.
Back out of the intent to
Of the-
purchase this
yeah,
piece
us
of property.
purchasing that piece of property and leaving that into the discretion of YNS itself and not part of our agreement. So I have a motion and a second. Any more questions? Hearing none, vote from my right.
Bond, yes?
Matthews, yes.
Damiano, no.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Motion carries. We instruct
I
you
will
to-
bring the other issues back to the board. Tonight, it was just a matter of, are we moving forward with this? Do you want me to negotiate or not? So,
We don't want to move forward with it. We don't want you negotiating anything.
Okay.
Okay. Next item, item 17, consider and take action to approve the lease agreement with the City of Gun Barrel City for a park property. Acres 8.101, abstract 794, GT Walter Survey, Mid-Cities property, Block B, lots 5 and 6, northern portion of Lot 7. And I believe that this specifically is the land we're selling to the dentist.
it actually, this is the lease that the EDC does to
yes,
the
I'm
city for what you see there, which is basically the lawnmower track. And so this has been a lease that the EDC and the city have renewed every year. I did ask this year if there was a reason that we do it every year, or could we turn it into a 3-year lease? So that is a 3-year lease, and there is a 30-day out on either party. If the EDC chose to do something different with this property, with 30 days' notice, you could do that. If the city chose to get out of this lease for any reason, 30 days, they could do that. But it will be a 3-year lease. It will only have to renew every 3 years instead of us doing this action every year. And this is a no-cost agreement between the EDC and the city. The city maintains that property and hosts the lawnmower races on it.
Is there any reason why we haven't dedicated it to the city since it's going to be used as city park?
That's a great question. And we had that conversation the other day that maybe that's the long-term goal, if that's what we want to do. If the EDC and the city are amicable to that, dedicating that to the city at some point.
As long as they keep the races.
So, but tonight, it's just the renewal of the lease, and then we'll bring that back to you. So if there is an interest
Is it
from the
a
board.
3-year?
It is a 3-year lease, yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion or move that we consider and take action to approve a 3-year lease agreement with the city of Gun Barrel City for the park property, acres 8.1001, AB 794, GT Walters, Sir, comma, Mid-Cities property, Block 5, LTS 5, 6, and N, north part of LT 7.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Mr. Bond and a second by Ms. Rankin. Any questions, any concerns? Hearing none, vote for my left.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. We'll renew the lease for 3 years. Item number 18, consider and take action to approve the commercial lease agreement between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and the city of Gun Barrel City for office space located within the city hall where we are now. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the commercial lease agreement between Gun Barrel City EDC and the city of Gun Barrel for the office space located at City Hall.
This one is for a 3-year lease too, isn't it?
It is, yes, sir, same terms.
Okay, same terms. Would you like to amend your motion to add the 3 years?
For 3 years.
Yeah. Second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Hearing no discussion, vote for my right.
Bond, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Motion carries. We will enter into a 3-year agreement with the city for keeping our building, our office building over here. Item number 19, consider and take action to approve resolution authorizing the execution of a real estate sales contract for the sale and conveyance of a 1.44 acre tract of property, which is part of Tract 11, Abstract 794, GT Walters Survey, Tract 11, and it's been platted as a single plot. I turn this over to Dr. Smith.
So this has been in front of you a couple of times in a couple of different versions. We got the appraisal done. We approved platting the lot. So the EDC has had the survey. We have done the platting. It is that piece of property right at the corner of Church Street and the Luther Lane extension. It is for the dentist who was here at the meeting. She's still very interested. The sales contract was included in your packet. That was drafted by our EDC attorney. Stephen has contacted the title company, so we are ready to go. I just need final approval of the contract and a resolution from the board, and then a resolution from council, and we will be ready to go at the end of the month. So we have tied up all of the loose ends on our end. Now we just need final approval of that sales contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the execution of a real estate sales contract, a conveyance of 1.44 acre tract of property, which is part of Tract 11, Abstract 794, GT Walters Survey, Tract 11, and has been platted as a single lot.
Have a motion by Ms. Rankin. Have a second?
Bond, second.
And a second by Mr. Bond. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, vote from my left.
Rankin, yes.
Key, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. We'll move forward with that. Item number 20, consider to take action on providing the Pink Fishing, Inc. a donation of $4,000 as requested by Misty Schmidt, Pink Fishing, Inc. Tournament Director. Now, this is the breast cancer fishing tournament that's going on, a very worthy cause that they're asking us to support.
Yeah, just for the edification of the board, Misty, would you mind saying a few words?
If you guys will let me give a little bit, then we'll bring
Oh,
Misty
go for
up
it.
here, if you don't mind, President. So Misty Smith, the tournament director, is here. I will ask her to come up and give you details. It's the Pink Fishing Reeling in the Cure Bass Tournament. The date is Saturday, October the 19th. They have partnered with the city to use the pavilion to do all of their weigh-in Many of you will be familiar with the Texas Bass Nation. I believe that they are planning to do, so we have an agreement with them through the city to use our pavilion to do all of our weigh-in there. Their fundraising goal, which I'm sure Missy will go over more, was about $15,000 this year, and they have requested $4,000 from the city. Missy, would you like to come up and say a few words?
I hope it's okay that I prepared what I need to say out of respect for everyone's time. Okay. Good evening. My name is Misty Schmidt, and I proudly represent Pink Fishing Incorporated, a registered nonprofit organization based in Texas that supports those in active treatment for breast cancer. For the past 4 years, I have served as the tournament director for our annual breast cancer benefit bass tournament at Cedar Creek Lake. On Saturday, October 19th, 2024, Pink Fishing Incorporated will host the 5th annual Reeling in the Cure Bass Tournament. This is the first time we're hosting the tournament here in Gun Barrel City. I'm excited to share this event with y'all and how it will benefit the community and support such an important cause. This signature event is our annual gala dedicated to raising funds for individuals currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer. The proceeds from this event will directly support our mission. It will also enable us to support essential comfort packages to those in need. My goal is to raise $15,000 to help support our mission well into 2025. I'm here today to request funding from the Gun Barrel City EDC to help us reach our goal. The funds to be used would help us provide comfort packages that directly impact patients undergoing treatment. Each comfort package will include a handmade card from a survivor, comfort items, hand sanitizer, lotion, lip balm, hard candy. If you know anyone that's ever had treatment, those things are actually important. A bracelet, stickers, a Pink Fishing t-shirt, and a $100 gift card for fuel, food, or other necessities. By including a personal message from survivors and offering much-needed financial relief, these packages provide emotional and practical support. A small portion of around 13% of the requested funding could assist us with essential event costs such as supplies and promotional materials to accommodate our needs for the new venue location. This will ensure we create a successful event that maximizes community engagement and, in turn, raise more funds for breast cancer patients. We anticipate a great turnout. With around 20 to 30 teams fishing the tournament, and an additional number of spectators estimating around 100 to 150, most of whom will be those from our local surrounding communities, along with many traveling from out of town. This influx of visitors will positively impact local businesses, including restaurants, hotels, and shops, contributing to the local economy. And I want to thank the Gun Barrel City EDC for considering our request and allowing me a few moments to speak up here today. Your support will help make this event a success, and together we can have a lasting impact on those fighting breast cancer. I look forward to working with you and appreciate your partnership in making this possible.
Thank you for sharing with us. Any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the date that this is to occur is October the 19th. So my thoughts regarding our donation are mixed because I truly believe that this kind of a donation should come out of our hotel motel tax and not out of the EDC funding. And I'm not saying your situation is wonderful. I love what you're doing. The celebration of breast cancer awareness is great. I am just, the only reason I might vote yes on this time is simply because your date is the 19th, and I don't want you to miss your goal. But I would like for this board to consider in the future that we look at the hotel motel tax instead of our funds, because that's what those are meant for, and it's for community awareness, and so.
We have no control over the hotel motel funds, but
I'd like to make a motion that we allocate $4,000 to the Pink Fishing Tournament.
Bondel, second.
I made a motion that we allocate $4,000. And Keith seconded.
we have a motion and a second. Vote to my right.
Bond, yes.
Matthews, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Key, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Motion carries. Thank you for letting us partner with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item number 21, subcommittee updates. Business retention and expansion, small and large. We're really getting moving forward now at this point in time since we're setting our board. We've been visiting with a few of our problem loans that we're trying to get set up payment arrangements, get something paid from them, and put it back on the right path. But as it stands right now, we're still we're taking baby steps on both of them. We do have our small business retention, or our small business retention plan online now, and people can make requests for their grants online now, directly with the EDC. I have nothing else to add to that. Do you, Keith?
No, Roy and I are going to be going out and visiting, for those that may not be aware, the small businesses that we already have in Gun Barrel, and just talking with them. What is it that we can, what can we do for you? What can help keep you in Gun Barrel? We want to keep you in Gun Barrel. You know, just kind of get a feel for what they think of Gun Barrel. And like Roy said, we're going to start with some of our past loans that we're having trouble with. And we're going to meet with one of the proprietors, and that's our start. We're going to try to see how we can work with them to keep them in Gun Barrel and to make Gun Barrel small business thrive. So.
Any questions from the board? Any comments from the board? Move on to item number 22. I have an update on our events and festivals. We're going to ask Mr. Damiano.
Thank you. But there were two of us on this team. Right now, there's just me. Our first shot out of the box is with the Pink Fishing Tournament. Missy and I have been working very closely. We've set up communications, publicizing and communications methodology for her to better communicate to the general public about the tournament, both those that are going to be in the tournament as well as spectators. We were instrumental in putting this $4,000 donation to the fishing tournament to get them off on the right foot. We're taking a look, whatever. The goal, and my goal is not just to focus on little events or big events. Any event that whether it's 20 people or 200 people that want to come into the city, then we need to figure out how to do it. Whether it's communication, whether it's support, whether it's money, or getting businesses together to help. That's the goal. You bring people in, you put heads in beds, and the retail businesses do better. That's our goal. So we're going to keep focusing on that throughout the year. Thank you.
And there is an opening on that committee. I'm sorry? I was just mentioning that there is an opening on that committee.
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
So you can recruit.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
There you go.
Hey.
You know, I'm going to ask for any objection to adjournment. I don't think I'm going to hear an objection, so I'm going to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you very much. At 7:36 p.m.